Hey there, Chad with Projul's Customer Success Team here. In this video, we're going to talk about the project schedules and how you can interact with them. What you can see here is we have the Go to Projects tab, and we also have the Projects button on the left-hand side in the navigation bar. Now, before we go over to the Projects page, I quickly want to mention that the Projects schedule is a view of our scheduling feature. There's the Projects page, the Schedule page, and the Task page, all three of which are linked together. If you make a change in the project schedule, the Task page and the Schedule page will be updated respectively, and so on and so forth throughout all of those views. They're essentially just three different ways of looking at the same exact information. So let's head over to the Projects page. From here, what you can see is we're on a timeline view. Now this is essentially just a folder that would hold all of the scheduling items, and we'll come touch base on this a little bit more, but I want to show you a few different views that we have. So up here where it says Project Timeline View, this is a drop down to show you the view mode. There's the Timeline View, the Month View, and the Gantt View. Let's go ahead and head over to the Gantt View. What we can see is on any of these different projects, we could see a schedule here. So if I actually maximize this project and then scroll over a little bit to the left, you can see that there's a start date. There is a dependency arrow here. If I were to actually select this and pick another task, if I move this, they all move together because they're dependent. And if I actually remove that dependency arrow, these two move together. So you can see kind of how that dependency works, and you can see that these ones here are 100% marked off, and that's why they're solid green. And this one is a hollow or a faded green color because it's not yet marked as complete 100%. So that's just a couple of different ways that you can view that. And yeah, let's go ahead and head over to our timeline view, do a little more discussion, okay? So on here we have the Rick Grimes project, the same one we were just looking at a moment ago. We could see that this is the sales representative with the little S and the icon up here. You can see who the project manager is. And then under the W, this is workers. This would be anybody who's ever been assigned to a task on this job at all. So just from even a really high level view, you can get a great understanding of who's ever been out here and really easily be able to call them and contact them should you have any questions. Additionally, you can see the customer name, the project type, when the estimate was last approved, and if you even click right there on that, that will open up the estimate for you to view. If you needed to edit something in a change order, it's very simple to do that, or to add a change order, very simple to do that from right here. Now additionally, you can see there's a shower installation task spanning multiple days. Now we'll get into a little bit more of individual tasks, how to manipulate them on the timeline view or on other views here shortly. But in this video, I just am wanting to show you through the whole project here and how everything is structured. And then we also have, of course, several different projects throughout this, and currently they're organized by the next scheduled task. Now there's a lot of different ways that we could look at this. I'll show you a couple of these different sort options in another view, but you can sort by the sold date, the start date, the end date, number of tasks, etc., specifically name and different things along those lines. And then you'll see on the left-hand side of the project card here, we'll see the project progress. It's determined by the number of scheduled hours complete, and then the number of completed tasks, and you know, when the start date was, sold date was, how many scheduled man hours or days that are on the timeline there. And there's a lot of just available ready information that's just updated real time throughout the project progress. If you click on the quick options menu here, you can see where there's the comments, there's photos. This will take you to the time logs page showing you all log time for this job. Another option to see the estimate, and then all of the files. If I click on the photos, this is the gallery for the project. If I wanted to view these pictures, I can do it right here. If I wanted to filter it down by tags or any other specifics, I could. And I could additionally select some of these photos. I could you know, tag them by something like before or website or bathroom or different things like that. But just quickly to mention while we're talking about tagging photos here, it's really easy to be able to have them tagged in the gallery automatically. So whenever a photo is added to a project, it's tagged by the customer name, the project type, the date that it was taken, who took the photo, and the address of where the photo was taken. So all that's automatically done for you. The tagging is just a little bit more finite organization for your team. And then finally, just to mention the comment section, this is super useful for communicating with your team. There's a lot going on here, but what's really awesome is you'll be able to see the all section is a chronological history. Now, if I go to this estimate meeting task, this is a task when we were on site during the estimate, and I was able to record all of my notes for when I was out on this job site. So you'll see here that I was using voice to text just on my mobile phone. You just click the little microphone, talk into it, and submit it. And I have like 18 notes here about the scope of work that I was going to provide for this job. And then you can additionally see on the right estimate task, there's some notes here as well. And then every single task has its own channel, as we like to call it. And then you can also see, if you go to the all, this is a chronological history of exactly when these things were said. So if later at some point on the shower installation task, I actually wanted to put a comment on that, we could actually do that. So we could put a comment on here. Now, whoever the worker is, in this case, it's April. If I put a message on here, it's going to show up for April on her mobile phone. She's going to be able to respond to that. And it's almost as if the project manager and the worker are texting back and forth related to that specific thing that the worker's working on. So from the worker's perspective, they just live out of their task list, and it's very simple. They can just message back and forth, ask the PM questions. The PM can answer them very straightforward and very easily. There's a couple other things here before we leave this view and we go to the project month view. For a project manager, they could simply go to My Projects and see all of the jobs that are specifically theirs. For active projects is what we're on by default. You could also see completed projects. This would be any jobs that you have marked as complete and have moved over into kind of an archived status. Now as well, you have canceled projects, and then we'll go over project templates in another video, but that's how you could build project templates for maybe phasing of projects that would change the color or the status or the project type on the fly to accommodate kind of a multi-stage workflow. That's another way that we could really help people with consistent project schedules and consistent scopes of work organize their workflow. That's a great option there. So those project templates would be a good thing. And then lastly, we'll talk about adding a filter, right? So we could have a filter here to look for a customer, a project, and to get the data that we want specifically out of this. And then lastly, the ability to add a new project here, where you would be able to choose an existing customer or to add a new customer record. If I click add a customer, this would simply create a customer record in the people page and also add a project, and it would essentially skip the entire lead pipeline process and go right into the sold status as if you had worked it all the way through the pipeline. So while we have something for all the way from the beginning at step A, all the way through to step Z for a completed project and kind of archived, you can start at any point along the way within our system. And then we'll go ahead and head over here to this, the view mode to see the month view. This is the same exact data, except it's zoomed out into a month view. If I click on any one of these days, I could see this. I could also see if I wanted to, on this project, the bathroom remodel here, slide the schedule. You can do it from both the month view and the timeline view. Wherever you see those little sideways arrows, you could simply slide it to a whole nother day. In this case, I moved everything down a whole week because maybe this project had to slide for whatever reason. So you can do that, slide it forward, you can slide it backwards, right back to where it was. Very easy to manipulate. And then you can also see all of the same information: contact phone number, who the project manager or sales representative was, who all the workers were. All the same information is available on this month view. And then this is another option where we could sort by the end date. And this is a great way to be able to see in the system kind of a waterfall of where your projects are starting and where they're ending. And you could even also filter specifically by maybe one of your project managers and just get a good idea of when that project manager is available to start their next job if they're running 1 or 2 or maybe 3 projects concurrently. So that's a couple of different ways to view the schedule. That's the project function specifically there. And if you have any questions about that or you'd like some help setting things up, always feel free to reach out to us here at Projul Support. And thanks for watching.